Hey, all right, everybody. How's it going? Now, I got a few news articles by here. I thought I'd go through them. Bit of waffle, and we'll go through the articles. Now, before I get onto this, I was watching YouTube on my TV downstairs just before making this video, and I was actually watching a Macmaster video, or his real name, Evangilist, because he's become more of a sort of pro EV type person. I think he has anyway, because he's doing reviews on EVs. He's going to the Everything Electric show. He's on his second electric car. If you hated electric cars, you wouldn't buy another electric car. Even if, you know, he tried to say that it was all to do with the money and blah, blah, blah. But no, if you hated electric cars, you wouldn't buy an electric car. He doesn't hate them anymore, though, because this video was him pining about his old EV. Anyway, that being said, okay, he was having a bit of a waffle. Likes to waffle even more than me. I was watching the video, because I do watch his videos. And my daughter popped her head round the corner. She was in the kitchen. And she said, does this guy like EVs, or does he hate EVs? And I said, I don't know. I can't tell you, because one day he dislikes them and the next day he likes them. So anyway, that's Evangilist. But so let's get out of the way and have a look at these news articles by here. Kia to nearly triple electric car production in Slovakia. Following the start of production of the EV4, the small crossover EV2, Kia's most affordable electric car to date, is set to start roll-off production line in Zelina starting next year, and from 2027 the manufacturer plans to produce a total of around 180 vehicles, electric cars I should say, per year from this place in Slovakia. Now Kia, Hyundai, they're doing all right. They're doing all right with electric cars, because they're one of the companies that wasn't protesting in the EU about the new, what is it called? The emissions laws. You know, the emissions laws, the new ones, a little bit tighter. And Kia and Hyundai said, well, no problem, we can do it. But other car manufacturers, mostly German ones, are complaining. So let's have a look at another news article, which is to do with EVs and insuring them. And they're not as expensive as some people might say. So let's have a look by here. Now, insurance on cars is dependent on the type of car, your age. It's lots of things, isn't there? There's lots of things. So this one here was talking about EV insurance, and the car that came out on top, the cheapest car, and this is data. I know that certain people don't like data. They'd rather work on emotions, but this is from data, and it said, and you take the average of the data, the Volkswagen ID3 came on top as the cheapest car, electric car I should say, to insure, and that was £478 on average per year, which isn't too bad. I think my car was round about, it wasn't far off that price. It wasn't extortionate to insure my, can't remember what car I got, Nissan Ariya. It wasn't that bad at all. Actually, I think it was no different from when I insured my Hyundai Kona. So there is another little list down here I can go through. Where was that to here? Number one was the Volkswagen ID3 at £478. The Volkswagen Up, that's getting a bit long in the tooth now, isn't it? But that was £487. And isn't it bizarre that the Volkswagen ID3 is cheaper to insure than the Volkswagen E-Up, which is really a much cheaper car. If it got written off and they paid you out, they'd be paying you a lot less. You know what I mean, don't you? Number three was the Mini Cooper. It's the all-electric cars, £488. The Vauxhall Mokka E Ultimate, £492. And the Nissan Leaf Tecna 30 kilowatt, that's going back a bit as well, £516. So anyway, that was that. I mean, what's your insurances like? I haven't found it that bad compared to, you know, the equivalent fossil fuel cars I was insuring. I think I did have a Suzuki Swift, and it wasn't like a massive jump from that. It wasn't like, you know, miles apart. Anyway, let's have a look at the next story I can waffle about. So, now this one does interest me, but also it interests me, but I also think it might be further away than what these articles actually say. But it is interesting, and if it does happen, it's going to make electric cars even more. Now, I've said on this channel quite a lot of times, there's a lot of waffle in this video, by the way. I've said on this channel quite a lot of times that we are just at the beginning of the EV evolution, whereas fossil fuels is at the end, or you could say extinction, because it's very hard to make, if you want to make any improvements on fossil fuels, it's teeny weeny, tiny increments of improvements. And actually, you could even argue, and I would say this, that modern petrol cars, and even more so modern diesel cars, are just one big pain in the bum. They are. They're one big pain in the bum, especially diesels with the AdBlue, the diesel particulate filter, which is sort of, they're getting particulate filters on petrol cars as well now, but they won't clog up as quickly as diesel cars. There's no point buying a modern diesel car if you want to do short journeys. Only if you do long journeys should you buy a diesel car, because otherwise it just clogs up. So you could say modern fossil fuel cars are a bit of a pain in the bum. But what I'm going to talk about now, because I waffled a bit then, solid state batteries. Now don't say boo hiss, chuck him off. But solid state batteries are becoming closer, but I don't think it's all about mass production, getting the prices down, and all that sort of stuff. Now, solid-state batteries do exist. It's not like a unicorn thing. They do exist, but like I said, it's getting the prices down and mass production. But it says another one by here, another solid-state battery, 100 kilogram. Now, this is the big thing about this solid-state battery. Solid-state battery, 100 kilogram pack to exceed 1,000 kilometer range. Chinese scientists overcome the bottleneck. I'll try and leave all the links to these articles down in the description if you want to read them. I can't read them all because I'd be here for ages. But a 100 kilogram pack that exceeds 1,000 kilometer range would be absolutely fantastic. It would be amazing, wouldn't it? Chinese research teams have achieved significant progress in addressing one of the main technical bottlenecks in all solid-state lithium metal batteries, according to a report by China Central Television. The development could potentially allow, now it says potentially by the here, doesn't it? So that puts a dampener on it straight away. The development could potentially allow a 100 kilogram battery pack to deliver driving ranges exceeding 1,000 kilometres compared to roughly 500 kilometres previously. So I'll link that in the description. Go read it if you want to. And then, what's the next one here? Let's go to the batteries again, because this is quite good as well. I like this. You'll like this. You should like this. Even the anti-EV people should like this one. China's new EV... I'll say that again with my teeth in. China's new EV battery recycling rules deliver 99.6% material recovery. China's new national standards for dismantling and recycling electric vehicle batteries have shown positive results, with pilot programs reporting recovery rates of around 99.6% for key materials such as nickel, cobalt and manganese. China is expanding its efforts to make electric vehicle battery recycling more efficient and sustainable. The country's General Administration of Market Supervision has recently approved 5 new national standards, bringing the total number to 22. These regulations define how retired EV batteries should be managed, dismantled and tested for remaining energy. That'll be down in the description as well. Let's go back. Now, I did skip past one here, which was Volkswagen Group. The Volkswagen Group BEV sales up 42%. Now, I'm going to have somebody arguing saying it's not sales, but this article by here says sales. So the Volkswagen Group BEV sales are up 42% in 2025. So Volkswagen is actually one of the EV manufacturers that's doing okay. Some of them are not doing so well, and some of them are doing A-okay. So it says by here that the Volkswagen Group, which includes Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, Skoda, Seat and other brands, boasted 717,500 BEV deliveries so far by the end of September. That's up 42% from 506,600 deliveries in the same period in 2024. So we all know that BEV sales and registrations, and the ones that hide in airports, oh dear, is going up. Not down. It's not going down. It's going up. So, you know, that's just the way it's going. It is going up. The data supports that. And also, your eyeballs support it, because when I drive around, I see a lot of EVs. I've actually seen a lot of 75 plate EVs driving around in my area. And I thought they were all being hidden. But there we go. So, what's the next one here? Oh, another solid state battery one as well. Is that the same one, or is this something different? I think this is the same one. Or is it different? It might be the same one, I'm not quite sure. It says China overcomes key barriers to unlock an all solid state EV battery with 1,000 kilometre range. Let me just see down here if it is the... It doesn't mention a 100 kilogram battery pack. So I don't know if I'll have a different one or not. So let's just read a little bit by here. China is advancing all solid state EV batteries. Now, China are at the forefront of EV sort of... They're there at the top. They're trying to make batteries better and better. And they are evolving. They are evolving quite fast. Like I said, we're at the beginning of the evolution of the current EV. When I say beginning of the EV revolution, I mean the current EVs. I don't mean the ones from 1900, which had lead acid batteries. I'm talking about modern batteries. It says automakers, startups, battery makers, and plenty of other companies from around the globe are racing to introduce the next generation of EV batteries. Although they've shown promise in lab tests and even in smaller niche markets, producing all solid-state EV batteries at mass scale has not been so easy. So it's the mass scale. They exist, but it is the mass scale. All solid-state batteries replace the liquid with electrolytes, blah, blah, blah. We all know what they are. But anyway, that was another article there. And it was something else here. Let's see if I can get on that one there. It wasn't that one. Was it that one? No, I don't think it was. There was another one, which made me laugh. And it'll all make you laugh as well. Now, this isn't a video full of jam-packed EV news. You know, it's not jam-packed with actual, you know what I mean, nitty-gritty stuff. It's just me looking at a few things. But I was looking at something else which popped up, because I was looking at... I do tend to look at EV battery technology, and there was loads of things that came up to show that EV battery technology is advancing. But also what popped up was Toyota. And I think the article said, and they're always promising solid-state batteries, but they said it could be 2027, could be 2028. But the trouble is, by the time 2027 comes, Toyota, you'll say, well, where's these solid-state batteries? And they'll go, oh, we meant 2030. So they're always kicking the can down the road. Toyota's been kicking the can since, I think it was, I read an article from them about solid-state, and that was 2014. I'm sure it was. So that's 11 years. They've been kicking the can. They've been kicking the can down the road for 11 years or more about solid-state batteries. So there was another article, and, you know, if you keep saying the same thing over and over, people are not going to believe you, are they? But even Toyota, who has been a laggard with electric vehicles and has done lobbying in America when the Democrat-run government were trying to sort of reduce pollution from cars, Toyota's been one of the people, or companies I should say, that have lobbied to keep the pollution high from vehicles. They've been one of them people who've lobbied. They're always lobbying for more pollution. So there we go. And that's not me making things up. That's true. They've lobbied. And they've been the laggards in electric vehicles, but they are sort of moving forward with electric vehicles. Still a little bit slow compared to other car manufacturers, but they've sort of given up on saying we're not going to make electric cars anymore. They are making electric cars, and they keep promising these solid-state batteries. Now, there's loads and loads of companies promising solid-state batteries. There was something else I meant to put on you, but I can't find it now. So, and it was quite interesting, and it's slipped out. It's just fallen out of my head. It's completely fallen out of my head. Anyway, that's my waffle and a little bit of news about electric cars. And what do you think about... do any of you watch the Macmaster and his shenanigans and his sort of ever-changing opinion on electric cars? Like, electric cars are terrible, then they're not so bad, then he's reviewing electric cars, then he's saying the government's evil for the 2035 ending of new petrol and diesel cars. The funny thing is, though, the conversation has seemed to have stopped on pollution from exhausts. And it all seems to be focused around the government. You know, the government is terrible for this travesty of stopping stopping petrol and diesel cars in 2035. The sort of discussion about exhaust fumes and carcinogenic fumes, especially when diesel cars, when they're all the things that make them clean sort of go a little bit haywire, and people still carry on driving them until the next MOT. Now, I'm not trying to demonise anybody. I'm just saying that, I believe that, we should move away from cars that give out exhaust fumes. And I mean move away, not cut off. And what I mean by cut off, not people who've got a car already, petrol or diesel, fine, carry on driving them. Just carry on driving them until they come to the end of the days. That's absolutely fine by me. But to keep putting more and more brand new ones onto the road seems a bit, in this day and age, it does seem a little bit bizarre. God, I've waffled, haven't I? I've gone from one thing to the next by here. But what do you think anyway? What do you think about the Macmaster? Do any of you watch his videos? And his ever-changing opinion on electric vehicles, where he said the worst thing he ever done was buying the Porsche Taycan. Now he's making a video where he's comparing it to his first girlfriend, and he's feeling sad because somebody's bought the Porsche Taycan. He was driving to the Porsche dealers in Nottingham, I think it was, because he said somebody has bought that car. So he went up to drive and have a look at his car. So really, he actually liked the car, didn't he? So, so that's why I'm going to call him Lee Evangelist, because he does more videos about EVs than me. Anyway, nothing substantial in this video. I just thought I'd sit here and have a bit of a waffle. If you did enjoy this waffle, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and comment down below. And if you think this waffle was rubbish, tell me down below.